What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Charles Branchy back today with another Phantom Parade video. And today we will be ranking for the month of December the top 10 best units on global Phantom Parade. So before we get any further, I'm gonna need you guys to please flash that like button and subscribe for more content. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So from my last month's list, I will say since global has dropped an obscene amount of new characters, you know, the whole rushing schedule drama, bro, I don't know if they're gonna kill the game or not, but only time will tell. Alright, I've been doing my JP account, so if things do go wrong, I have got an outlet, you know what I mean? But anyway, again, a lot of changes. Let's get right into it. So at number 10, drum roll please, we have Kato Yuki, the rare. The fact that a rare unit is even on the top 10 list, crazy enough, like just like straight out. But why is he so good? I have explained it many times, but he is a cursed energy battery. If you need cursed energy for like your skill 3s, even your skill 2s, Kaito has you covered, right? So he's a support unit, obviously. No black flash, but where he shines is not skill 1, kind of skill 2, but skill 3, right? Because he recovers all allies cursed energy by 19 every turn for 2 turns. Wow. So in short, he just helps your team maintain high levels of cursed energy so you can pump as many skill 3s as you want, right? So for example, you'd use it with Megumi for his debuff slash, or like Yuta with his big Rika multiple hit attack, right? And his ult 2 is really good because it just increases all allies JUJUTSU damage by 128.7%, 3 turns, 1 time. So it's 1 time because it's a rare unit, right? We're not going to get some crazy stuff on a rare unit, but still good either way. His combo ult 2 helps with taking less damage as well, which is always nice. So I think it's very deserved. My boy Kaito is number... Not Miwa. Number 10. Now, number 9. Kento Nanami. The SR support. Not the SSR is nowhere near this list because although he's alright, the SR version stomps him in almost every way. Not damage wise, but just in his utility, right? He can black flash, although that's not really that important. Skill 1 as well, not that important. Where he really shines is again skill 2, because skill 2 at level 10 increases his own damage and or allies damage by 34.4% for 4 turns. None of that time crap where it only happens for 1 attack. It's every turn for 4 turns, every attack, right? Which makes him so valuable because he just buffs damage so much, right? And skill 3 is nothing crazy as well. But skill 4, well, which is ult, it's also good because it's just extra damage increased, right? Which is good because that will stack with his current buff when he has ult. And then, you know, more damage. And no one's complaining about more damage. And then his combo ult as well just recovers cursed energy, and that's about it, right? So Nami, really good support. What I love about the rares and SRs as well is that they're really like available, right? So you'd probably have most of, if not all of these guys, like Limit Break 5 already if you've been playing, which is massive because that gives them extra stats and just overall like really good, right? Now, number 8, we have another rare unit, Inumaki. On my last list, I put Nanami above the rare units, but you know, after some careful consideration, I feel like more long-term versatility comes out of Inumaki because even though he's not buffing damage like that, he's providing a lot more utility where you can have your other support guy buffing damage. So Inumaki is good for more survivability and ult rushing, while Nanami is more good for just straight nuke damage, right? So Inumaki, again, I have explained this unit multiple times, but where he shines most is simply definitely not skill 1, but skill 2, Protect, which increases the full ult skill gauge rate by 213.1%. So ults come faster, right? And then also he decreases all allies damage by 43%, 2 turns, 2 times. So obviously it's not going to be flat out 2 turns, but you'd be really unlucky if a unit is being attacked more than 1 time a turn anyway. So it turns out okay, but it is 2 times. So it's not like it's everyone for 2 times. It's just 2 times flat. So it's not the best, but it's still good for what it is, especially coupled with the ult skill gauge. And don't forget too, he has a stun, which is useful on those like one enemy fights, like Jogo for example, where you can stun him and halt the ult, which is really important. And for skill 4, which is the ultimate, just damage, right? Nothing too crazy, and his combo ult isn't too crazy, just healing. But I still put him above Nanami just for the sake of versatility and all that, right? So now, number 6. Oh, what? My bad. He goes there. All right, number 7. We have the Girl of Steel, Nobara Kugisaki. Really good, right? I still don't have her. Like she gets an adjustment, but I don't think we've like gotten that on global yet. So we're going off her pre-adjustment. She can Black Flash, which is always nice, and it doesn't change. Yeah, like it barely changes anything by too much. But yeah, so in short, skill 1 is just increases the nail count by 3 and does damage. The nails are like kind of like tokens, you could say, like tags that tag the enemy, and the more nails you have, the more damage you'll do with her later skills, right? So skill 2 increases her just like jujutsu damage, which is nice. It's not that expensive. And then skill 3, 40 curse energy. Yeah, just does a little bit of like damage increase. But anyway, right? This just deals damage to the enemy, so it's not too crazy. And then her ult, which is her hairpin, it just increases the enemy's nail count again, and then it does damage, and then the more damage she does is based off how many nails. So you'd want to stack nails on the enemy and then nuke her, or like nuke the enemy with Nobara's ult, and then it will remove all nails afterwards, which is expected, right? And then her combo ult is 96 ult gauge, which is not too bad. But yeah, bro, Nobara, she will get outclassed over time because, you know, more damage units keep coming out. But where I find the supports to be so valuable is that you can only support so many things. All the like really the option is to increase the rate of like damage or heals they're doing, while like that's like slower, right? So because these 3 aren't really going to change, or maybe like slightly, and then the later supports I've got further up on the list, they're not going to really change either because they're really valuable, right? But Nobara, she's outclassed by quite a few DPS in the future, so she will fall in the ranks. But right now, she's still good, right? So, you know, stick with her. And now number 5, we have Momo, the new Momo, okay? I think you could toss up her and Yaga, kind of being like one might be better than the other. I wouldn't complain if you put her over Yaga, but I'm putting her number 5. I think. No, not sorry, 6. So Momo, right? Can't Black Flash. She gets evasion if she's below a certain HP threshold. But that's not where she gets too crazy. Skill 1 as well. Nothing too crazy, just a bit of debuff, which is always welcome, especially because it's a no-cot skill. And yeah, where she shines is definitely skill 2 and skill 3, because it's a lot of buffs, right? So you got increases all damage by 68.7% level 10 for 2 turns, which is great. And break damage 2, which is also good. So yeah, Momo, pure damage buffing, nothing really else, just pure damage. And she evades as well, which is good because you don't want her dying, right? And that helps increase her survivability. So anyway, skill 3 as well increases all our crit rate, crit damage, and crit resistance on the enemy, right? So it's all for 2 turns. And again, this increases damage, right? Pair that with, you know, the memory with Maki and Mai on it fighting Nanami, where every crit you get 200 ult gauge. That would help because you're increasing the rate of crit. More likely to crit equals more ult gauge, right? So she's a good pair with that. Not on her, but on an ally, obviously. And then her ult as well is just a stun of all enemies. Not guaranteed stun, but decent chance. And also decreases the enemy's ult count by 1, which is good to stall the domain fights where you'll probably die if they like pop the domain. So again, it's really helpful for stuff like that. And overall, Momo, a really solid unit, right? She's not going anywhere in a long time. She's an amazing support, albeit very hard to get because I don't imagine many people summoned for her on her banner, and she's not in the standard pool yet, and she won't be added in a bit, right? So that's a big disadvantage. But if you have her, good on ya, right? So she is number 6. Now, number 5, we have Yaga. Okay, again, I don't mind swapping Momo and Yaga. It's really up to you. But Yaga is way more accessible, way more easier to get his limit break done. And yeah, maybe a bit more versatile as well. So skill 1, nothing crazy, obviously. Skill 2 though, increases the Taijutsu and Jutsu damage by 45.8% for 4 turns. So you can stack it up to 4 times, which is fantastic. And skill 3 as well is a good debuff, right? And just damage, but you can do increases the damage received by 47.6% for 2 turns, which is good because the enemy will get more damage to them, right? And his ult as well is a bunch of debuffing, as you can see. That decreases, and the whole enemy damage received increases too, right? So again, a really good debuffer. Some bosses can't be debuffed, which is a bit of a problem, but he provides the support anyway. And you know, again, he's really accessible, still top tier on JP to this day, because you can't really like replace stuff like this, right? Only his SSR counterpart, which is not on global, so he's not on the list. But yeah, Yaga, again, a fantastic unit. I will not stop glazing Yaga. He is amazing. And yeah, that's all I can really say. Again, Momo and Yaga, you can swap them, but I'm okay with how it is right now. Feel free to argue in the comments. And if you made it this far, comment down below who you prefer, Momo or Yaga. I want to know. Anyway, number 4, we have, you guys might get a little bit mad at this, because maybe he's like higher in your opinion, but I think he's in a perfect spot right now. Incomplete Domain, Megumi Fushiguro. Great unit, fantastic unit, superb unit, number 1 in terms of support right now. Not because of his damage buffing, but because of the domain he offers. He can't Black Flash, but if his curse energy is low, he fills ult gauge, which I cannot complain about. Skill 1, nothing too crazy until he's in his domain, where he does that, which is, wow, so good. Number 1. And then number 2, you have an AoE attack, which just does damage. Skill 3, which debuffs pre-domain and post-domain. It stuns number 1 and increases their Taijutsu damage received by 60% for 2 turns. Bro, post-domain, Megumi is crazy, right? But unfortunately, you don't get his domain right off the bat, which does limit him, because pre-domain, I wouldn't say he's crap or anything, but he's not as good, right? And then his ult, obviously his domain. Bro, I love the domain characters are so cool, bro. I don't know, just opening the domain, especially when it's like permanent, like Megumi. I know it does go away after like a few turns, which is 4 turns, but again, like in that domain period, the aura levels are unmatched. So anyway, it's damage, obviously, stun, which is again really good, but where it really shines is all this, right? Obviously not his like lack of ult gauge anymore, but his skills cost less. He gets invincibility like Gojo, which is wow. He gets damage received by 45% on enemies, so enemies take more damage, and also decreases all enemies damage by 35%, which is really good too. So they deal less damage and take more damage. Can't really complain, right? And then his crit rate increases on the combo ult, which is okay. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, Megumi, bro, once that domain is out, crazy, right? But I'm putting him number 4. He's not on the podium, just not on the podium, because the podium starts off with my boy, the strongest, my glorious king, Gojo. On my last tier list, the top 10 video, I had some people telling me that Megumi was supposed to be top unit and not Gojo. I'm saying Gojo is better. I'll explain why. Not because he leaves after 7 turns, not because of skill 1, even though it's a ton of damage. Look at that, so much damage. Obviously he increases his damage for 3 turns, which will stack up to 3 times. But it's his ult, right? Because it just does so much damage. Couple that with, he's a very simple unit, right? Just damage. No support, just buff him, and then ult, right? It's pretty straightforward. Couple him with the pride, it'll probably be here. Yeah, pride. He's doing what, like, I'll have a look real quick. He's doing what? 50, okay, he's doing 120% damage, yeah? Which is fantastic, because what happens is, he gets a 100% damage. No, sorry, 120% damage buff, which is amazing because, you know, like, who doesn't want more damage? So it's amazing, right? And he can nuke the shit out of bosses, and just a great unit, bro. So what? He goes number 3. Now, number 2. It's very close, but I'm putting the new Hollow Purple Gojo at number 2 because he's just like the blue Gojo. If you don't have this Gojo, I wouldn't worry too much because blue still gets the job done. But, bro, his nuke is more crazy than the blue Gojo, right? So, skill 1, debuffs, which is really good. He still leaves after 7 turns, which is not preferred, but it's a Gojo. We kind of have to expect that. And then skill 2, increases damage received for 2 turns, increases the damage by 10%, which is just a bit of a stipulation that he gets, which doesn't really matter too much. And increases his own damage by 70.1%, which increases his nuke potential, right? And then skill 3, at level 10, increases own break damage, shit ton damage, and then decreases their damage for 1 turn by 15%, which is good, right? But where he shines as well is his ult, because, bro, look at that damage. Almost 2,000%. What? That is number 1 in terms of nuke. If it was a nuking list, I'd put Gojo 1 by a landslide, but it's not a nuking list. He decreases all enemies' ult gauge by 2. Again, saving your art sometimes. But after ult, he leaves the field. So even if it hasn't been 7 turns yet, he'll leave the field at whenever he uses his ult, right? Bro, this unit, if you're doing pure nuke, this is your go-to, right? Hollow Purple, it had to be a nuke. It couldn't have been anything else. It had to be a nuke. And he does it so well. So I'm putting him number 2. And I'm sure you guys can all guess who I have number 1. And that is my boy, Yuta Okkotsu. Damage-wise, both Gojos beat him out. But unfortunately, this is not just a damage list. It is a everything list, right? So, again, he has Black Flash, damage, AoE, which is a bit of a debuff as well. And then skill 3 is a lot of damage too. But skill 4, again, a really big ult, which as you can see, it's almost 2,000 as well. But he hasn't got as high stats as Gojo and doesn't have as more like buffing potential. So Gojo will hit high numbers like naturally. But Yuta still hits good damage, right? So don't discredit him there. He's still massive. And then his auto skills, right? Which just make him like set apart. He heals his allies, right? Which is amazing because healing in this game, like bar some memories, is kind of hard to come by. So he heals everyone's HP by 25% if his cursed energy is 10 or above, which is good. And then that will of course consume cursed energy but increase his damage as well, and fills his own ult gauge by 200. And he has a counter as well, where if he's targeted by a melee attack, Rika will go no, and you know, counter, right? So he's not hitting as high numbers as Gojo, but in terms of versatility, where you can put him, I'm putting him slightly above because of his healing, his damage, which is still really high, and the fact that he won't leave after 7 turns, right? So for that, my boy Yuta is number 1 right now on global, and will be for the foreseeable future. So that is the December list, guys. Feel free to argue with me in the comments all you want. I think this is the right list. I can't see any flaws in here. Just maybe swapping Yaga and Momo, which is debatable, and then these few here can all change. But I think this is the general gist of the list. Even this, maybe you could argue, but I prefer it like this. But yeah, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, be sure to flash that like button for more content and subscribe. And I will see you guys later. Peace.